in general is not an easy task. As a single mom who is planning to move out of state in less than 12 months, I want to share some tips with y'all to make moving less stressful and just a little bit easier.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really know you.
Hey beauties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicole, and on this channel we do all content to help you live a more beautiful life. And if you're likely moving, planning for a big move, most likely you are trying to change and do better and live a more beautiful life. So definitely subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so first things first, if you are in a home that has a bunch of things and you're moving to a new state, you really have to figure out how you're going to pack everything up and how you're going to get it to that new state. And so my first tip is going to be start decluttering the mess out of your house, okay? I am on a journey now. Like I said, I am planning to move to a new state in less than 12 months. It's actually less than 9 months at this point. I do own my house, so I have to not only pack up, you know, and try to get this place ready for maybe a renter, because I don't think I'm going to sell, but regardless of what, we have to pack up, right? So step one is to declutter. Get rid of everything that you do not want in your new space, especially if you're moving for a more beautiful life, to kind of level up, to start a new chapter. If you haven't touched it in a year, evaluate, do you even still need it? I have stuff in my garage that I haven't touched in 2 years. Do I need it? So just really look through every single spot of your house and declutter. Get rid of all the old things, all the things that you have not used in a long period of time, all the clothes you have not worn, all the pots and pans and cups and bowls and all that stuff that you do not need, all the unnecessary beauty supplies, all the hair care products, all the makeup. This is what I've started doing already. So as soon as possible, start to declutter. That way you get rid of all the unnecessary things that you don't need, that you don't want to look at, that's crowding your space, that's crowding your mind. And then you can be left with the things that you actually need to organize and pack up. I will say for me too, because I am planning to rent my house out, on top of decluttering, I will still need to go through a phase of trying to touch up my house for a renter, paint and all those things. So that's something everybody may not have to go through, but regardless of what, step one is to declutter. Now step two, it is important to have a job lined up, have your finances right if you're going to actually make this move successful. Okay, so for me, I do not currently work remote. I've been working remote for a long time, but the past year and a half, I've been working a hybrid schedule, and my job does not allow me to transfer to a different state or what have you, right? So you really have to make this decision real. You probably should even do this first. But if you know for sure you're set on moving to this other state, you can go ahead and start decluttering first. But how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to survive when you get to this new state? So go on the job hunt. It is very difficult right now because the job market is like, there's not enough jobs for the amount of people looking. It just is what it is, but you can get a job. I've been doing that. I started decluttering. I am nowhere near done. I've started looking for jobs. You just got to be consistent. You got to be actively doing it. You got to make conscious decisions of where you want to work. Where do you think you can actually become employed? And one of my tips, this is just for people looking for a new job that's struggling. Think about your career experience, like the last 5 to 10 years. What have you been doing? What type of companies have you been working at or working for? And find similar companies, similar work, and start applying to those. That has changed the game in my job hunt, because at first I was like, okay, I want to try a new industry. I want to try a new career path. But sometimes that's not the easiest, especially in this job market. If you find a company that is similar to ones that you've worked in, that you'll be doing similar work that you're used to, 9 times out of 10, they're going to find you more valuable as a candidate, because it's like, okay, hey, she has experience with a competitor, or she has experience in a similar organization, and she's done this before. Cool. Ain't nobody trying to take risks with hiring people that don't have the experience right now. It's just not It's just not where the economy is. So find you a job. My recommendation, which is what I'm doing, is if you have worked remote before, if you can function in a remote work environment, find a remote job. It's so crazy. And I did this video because I was just talking to one of my old friends today, and as I was asking her about the move she wanted to make, we were on the same page. We're like, okay, we need to find a remote job so that we can start before we move. That's exactly where my head was at. I was like, okay, if I'm going to move next summer, I would prefer to start a new job this year, ideally before the holidays, so I can start new, I can get acclimated into this new job, I can be comfortable, so by the time it's time to move, starting a new job is not even on the stress plate, because moving is already stressful enough. Imagine moving, starting a new job. My child will be starting a new school in a new state, all the things. So you have to think about that, especially if you have kids too. You don't want too much new going on at the same time. So try your best to lock in that job. Try to find something that's flexible, that you can easily transition to that new state. So it doesn't have to be remote, but maybe you can find a job that has offices in that state that you're moving to, as well as in the state that you currently live in. And then boom, okay, let me talk to these people. Okay, they have offices here and there. What would it look like for me to transition? Is that even on the table? You can plan that way too. But tip number 2, figure out that career, girl. Figure out how you're gonna pay your bills. Make sure your salary is gonna be enough, all the things. Since I talked about the kids and starting a new school, tip number 3 is going to be plan ahead for the school that your child will go into. Now, the reason I say this, and this is where I am, I've already started looking into schools in my current state, as well as in the state I plan to be in next summer, because you just never know how things are going to work out. And I don't know about y'all, but where I live, and then also the state that I move into, a lot of the good schools that don't require tuition, they have like lotteries or applications, or you have to be on the wait list to get in. And a lot of times they have deadlines. The earlier you apply, the better your chances. So we're at the time right now where, okay, let me do this early. Let me find out everything I need to do to get my child on the list, to get my child enrolled. What kind of documents do I need? It's already a hassle in my state going from one school to the next in the same county. So add on the fact that it's one state to another whole state. So sometimes it's like, okay, your residential paperwork that you got, your proof of residency, all the things that you have to get your child into that school. This is the time to start figuring it out and writing down, okay, all the things I need to do to move and get my child into the school system in this new state. And then also just try to write down a list of the schools that are on your top, that are on top of your list. What are your favorites? What are you looking for in a school? Where's your child going to be most happy, thrive the most? So definitely, if you have kids and you're moving out of state, put that at the top of your list. Okay, you got to find you a job and make sure your career is good, but you got to make sure them kids are going to be in a good school in this new state. Okay, so the next tip I had, it involves finances, okay? And if you don't know how to manage your money in your current state, now is the time to figure it out. And I do have a video on my channel on how to budget and manage your finances. I will link it. If you don't see a link, let me know. I will add it for you. You got to get your money right, okay? Because moving comes with a lot of expenses, especially when you're going out of state. How much stuff are you taking with you? Are you taking big furniture? Are you going to just take clothes and shoes and essentials and then start over when you get there? So you got to think about all these things, and you got to think about, how much is this move going to cost me? And once you figure that out, add on some extra money, because you never know, there's always going to be potential for unexpected expenses. And you don't want the time to come and it's ready to move and it's like, oh, actually the movers charge this additional amount because you got more than we quoted you for and you don't have the money, or whatever the case is. Just plan financially for how much you think this move is going to cost you, and make sure you overestimate, okay? Write down the list of all the things you have to pay for. Is it movers? Is it boxes? Is it tape? Is it paint? Even if you're renting in an apartment, did you paint and you have to paint back over before you move? Is there anything you have to change in your apartment before you move to get your security deposit back? Are you selling your house? Are you renting out your house? What do you have to do what are those expenses going to be? So budget. And then also, when you get there, when you get to your new place, is there any essentials that you immediately will need that you will not be taking with you, because you have to budget for that too. You don't want to get there and be stressed. This is supposed to be a new start, new beginnings, fresh, happy, joyful, exciting. And so the reason I'm giving y'all these tips is because the better you plan, the better prepared you are, the more you're going to enjoy this experience. Okay, so now that we've decluttered, we're figured out the job situation, we figured out the school situation, we know we got a budget, and we've created as best of a budget as we can. So the next thing is we're going to look into where we're going to stay. Okay, if you already have plans to stay with a friend, or if you already have plans for a roommate, or if you already know what your apartment is going to be, if you already know what your living situation is going to be, fine. But if you don't, if you haven't quite thought about it yet, definitely start putting together a list of apartments, houses, whatever your plans are. Where are you going to live, and what do you need to do to secure that place? That is going to be essential. And if you have not visited this state before, if there's some things you still don't know about this state, you need to make some trips out there to kind of gauge out certain surroundings. And by now, I will hope you have done your research on the city, the state that you're moving to, so that you can know, at least have an idea of what the vibe is, what's your day-to-day going to feel like based on the kind of culture in this state or city. But definitely lock down your top few places of where you're going to actually live. If it's an apartment complex, okay, look at the reviews. I helped a friend a couple years ago, year and a half ago or so, and we were doing apartment visits in a different state, and some of the reviews were like, it's really nice, it looks good, but once I got in there, it was infested with like rodents. Understand where you're going to live and what that's going to look like. Okay, so now that you have all these things straight, right, the next tip is going to be try to build community or support groups before you get there. Now, I had this conversation with my friend, and she's like, I had debated on moving to this state a year ago for my boyfriend, but I didn't. He said he was going to help me with the kids and be more hands-on, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't know anybody there. I didn't want to get in that situation. Then he leave me with the kids, and now I'm on my own struggling. I don't know nobody out there, right? So try to build a support group or community in that state before you actually make the move. How can you do this? There are Facebook groups. There's the app Meetup. I've done that before, not successfully, but I know a lot of people do. So you can find support groups of people looking for new friends, people looking for friends in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, whatever your age group is, communities that are into the same interests you are. So maybe you like to work out, maybe you like yoga, maybe you like Pilates. I'm sure there's some Facebook groups out there for Pilates in Atlanta, Pilates in Nashville, wherever you're going. Like, try to find those support groups, try to connect with people. If you're on like LinkedIn, find people in your network that live in that state or city, and just try to connect with people, try to gauge, try to get perspective, and kind of tell people, yeah, I plan on moving out there 6 months from now. I would love to get coffee. We should definitely link up when I get out there. So you can already start building some morale of like who you're going to hang out with, who's going to be your support system, especially if it's a state where you have no family at all. This is important when you have kids, because if there's some friends that you haven't connected with in a while that live there, or there's some coworkers who live there, you can start to build some type of community. Because if it comes down to you needing a babysitter, or you needing somebody to talk to, or you wanting to have gatherings and try to have a social life, you have a jump start. This is something that I've already started to do. I've started to look on like Facebook to my friends, family that are on there, to see who is listed as living in that state, and reaching out to them like, hey, oh, you live out here? Are you close to this city? What is the school system like? How far are you from here? I'm thinking about moving out there. Let's do lunch. Let's do brunch. I'm gonna come out there and visit. Like, let's link up. Try to find groups. Like, I've been doing all of this, and it's definitely setting me up for success. Like, of course, I haven't actually made the move yet, but I'm already feeling less stressed. I'm already feeling good about the move because of some of the steps that I've taken that I'm giving y'all in this video. Okay, now the next tip is more involving the kids. Okay, it's for you and for the kids, but sometimes kids, depending on their age, they may have a view of the move. Sometimes kids don't want to leave their friends. Sometimes they're like, well, I don't want to start over and this and that. But at the end of the day, you're the parent and you know what's best that you're doing. At the end of the day, you know what's best for you and your family. So it's important to try to get the kids on board, even though at the end of the day it's your decision, but try to make it an adventure for them. Try to make it fun. Try to encourage and inspire them to be like, hey, it's going to be so great. Like, you know, you're going to make a whole lot of new friends, or they have these activities out there, or, you know, what color do you want to paint your room? Just all like things that make kids excited or make kids feel like they have something to look forward to that they can get excited about, because at the end of the day, you know better than them. They don't have the experience that you have, and you just kind of want to try to make this an enjoyable experience for them, because at the end of the day, they're your kids and you want them to have a positive mindset about the move, even though it may not be the easiest thing for them. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say when it comes to tips for moving out of state, especially for a single mom, is take care of you. You can look throughout my entire channel and see that I am all about self-care and positivity, and I'm not trying to be stressed. I'm not trying to be worried. I'm not trying to have gray hairs over this move. So just do your best to take care of you. Along the process, try to incorporate some self-care. Try to incorporate some physical fitness. Just try to do all the things so that you're not overwhelming yourself or stressing yourself out, because like I said, this is supposed to be a good time. It's supposed to be an exciting new phase, new chapter. So try not to stress. I know it's easier said than done, because I worry, I stress too much. But again, if you have the time, if you, like, honestly, for me, 8-9 months is really nothing, because time is going by so fast. But even if you have a shorter window to move, try your best to map out things as much as possible without getting overwhelmed. I am a checklist girly. I like to write things down, cross it off as things happen. That makes me feel good. But just don't stress on the process. This is going to be great. This is going to be a beautiful new chapter. I will be documenting the journey of moving to a new state, and it's like 8 or 9, 7, 8, somewhere between 7 and 9 months from now. My math is not going well right now, but yeah, it's going to happen soon. And with the holidays coming up, it's just time is not sitting still. So we're gonna move, we're gonna be successful, and I'm going to continue to take steps towards this move, and I hope you are excited about yours. And yeah, stay tuned for more move with me content. I'm excited for that, to share my journey and to share the process, and I will see y'all in my next video.